Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to my virtual interactive live. And today's live is going to be better intermittent fasting. Hello.
Hi, can you hear me? How's my audio?
Yes, it's good now. Yes, welcome. Well, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Welcome
afternoon.
to virtual interactive live. And today's interactive live is going to be better interactive live is going to be intermittent fasting. Welcome. And without further ado, I welcome to you the host and the speaker of the day. I am Tracy Lee. Yay! Go ahead, Miss Tracy Lee.
Hi, Queen. How are you? I'm so glad to be here.
Atia Francois, welcome. You can go
Thank you.
ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for the welcome.
Yes.
So let me know when you want to get started. Today, I wanted to do something different and answer more questions. I know in
Yes.
the last one, I kind of gave a overall summary of what we were discussing.
Yes.
Um, Yeah, so if you guys can bring me questions, if you have questions on intermittent fasting, that would be great. But I do want to share with you a few points. So just let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. You can go ahead.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am so blessed to be here at Aunt Cece's kitchen. I see Aunt Cece is over here doing her thing with the health and wellness. And I think that is incredible that we are bringing awareness to health and wellness in this time with what's going on around the globe today with regards to the pandemic. So I think it's wonderful on CC. I give you praise for just bringing these topics and these subjects that a lot of people aren't really talking about. They're not aware of. Um, we have so much power in that we get to decide what it is that we put in our bodies and how we treat our temples, and it is our responsibility to maintain temple care. I like to call it temple care. That's what I call with regard when I think about taking care of my body and putting in my body what it needs. I like to regard that as temple care, and that's a part of self care. To be honest, it's a part of self care. So, intermittent fasting, let me just tell you and summarize what intermittent fasting is. I've been doing intermittent fasting for the last 2 years. I started it with keto, which is a way of life. And we're not really going to discuss the keto part today, but we will discuss the intermittent fasting because a lot of people are taking on intermittent fasting and they're not really doing any type of other diets or lifestyle changes with the intermittent fasting. But intermittent fasting in itself is an incredible habit to pick up, an incredible habit to practice, and an incredible way of life. Period. So, in a nutshell, intermittent fasting is just you disciplining yourself to eat at a certain time, or allotting yourself a certain amount of time to eat, and allowing your body time to rest, digest those foods that you've eaten, and without going throughout the day just eating all throughout the day. Let me just share with you what I do. I started intermittent fasting back in 2018. And what I did is I cut out sugars, I cut out refined sugars and carbohydrates, not the good carbs that come in your veggies and stuff like that, but carbohydrates as it relates to breads, pastas, and things like that. I cut those things out, and I gave myself a 8 hour eating window, and I fasted for 16 hours a day. Now, people are like, how do you fast in 16 hours a day when it's 24 hours in a day? But when you take in that last meal or the last meal of the day, when you're sleeping, when your body's resting, you are actually in a fasted state. Okay. And it's in this time of rest and this time of sleep why it's stressed that the importance of getting 8 hours of sleep a night is because your body is literally on repair mode. And so it's repairing things, it's strengthening things. There's things taking place in the body when you're in a fasted state versus your body working to digest foods, working to you know um, just working to get the foods that you're putting in there out of your system. Okay. And so I'm not really here to share with you guys my way of eating because like I said, people eat the way that they eat and they still implement intermittent fasting into their lifestyle and are really benefiting from it. Okay. So I love the poster you put up on CC because it tells a lot about what intermittent fasting does, the benefits of it, and how it literally helps you to have a healthy, literally healthy lifestyle. It is a healthy lifestyle, depending on what you choose to eat when you come off of your fasted state. A day in the life for me would be me getting up. For most people, Western Americans, they like to go straight to breakfast. They get their coffee, their toast. Some people eat oatmeal, cereal, eggs, those types of things. My day starts out with me getting up, drinking me a nice 8 ounce glass of water straight from the source. I don't do purified water. I don't do distilled water. I do spring water straight from the source because it still has the minerals and things that my body loves. And so that's what I do. I get up. The first thing that I ingest in the morning is a 8 ounce bottle of water, spring water, straight from the source. And I say straight from the source because we have a lot of brands of spring water out here. It's not necessarily straight from the source. My bottle has to says straight from the source in order for me to drink it. And so that means I drink Poland Springs. I know that's straight from the source, and I drink Fiji water. I believe it's Fiji water. Yes, Fiji water because that's straight from the source. Knowing where the things come from that you are putting in your body, that you are ingesting, is very important if you're going to implement intermittent fasting as a healthy lifestyle change and also to allow some repairs to take place in the body. I shared with you guys the last time I was here that the body was created to heal itself, right? And so the body was created to heal itself. We simply need to give the body what it needs to assist in these healings and in these processes. And so that's what I do. Okay, so that's what I do. That's what I have the first thing in the morning. Why? Because it doesn't cause my glucose levels or insulin levels um, to go up. The first piece of meal food, whatever you put in your mouth, the first thing that your body is designed to do is to raise the glucose levels because that helps in the process of breaking down what you're eating. Okay, so water doesn't do that. Water does not break a fast. If you're ingesting coffee, I'm not sure. I can't tell you if that breaks a fast. Tea, I'm not sure if that breaks a fast. Because some people like to add stuff to their coffee. They like to add sugar. Like to add creamers and milk, things like that. And those things will break your fast. As far as teas are concerned, people like to add honey, and that will break your fast. Okay. So for me, I'm ingesting something that is allowing me to stay in a fasted state. And that's just simply spring water straight from the source. Um, I don't break fast. And you know, that is what breakfast is. If you take the word breakfast and you split it up, it just means you're breaking fast. It's your first meal of the day. It could be at 8 a.m. in the morning if you break fast, and it can be at 2 p.m. in the afternoon if you're breaking fast. And that's what I do every single day. I don't eat my first meal of the day until 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And so I went 8 hours sleeping, and then I go a whole another 8 hours before I break fast and have my first meal. Those are the 16 hours that I am intermittent fasting. During this time, my body has time to repair itself because it doesn't have to work to digest anything. My body has time to, it's literally hitting a reset button. And I want to share with you guys some things that's taking place when your body is in a fasted state. Okay. So the first meal that I do eat at 2 p.m., that's when the insulin levels go up. My body has to break down, digest, and do all these things. I have an 8 hour eating window before I go back into the 16-hour fasting phase again. And so, in this 8 hour eating window, I am mindful of what I am putting into my body. Okay. I don't want my body to have to work as hard while I'm in a fasted state to repair anything that needs to be repaired and things of that nature. Okay, so it's perfectly healthy people intermittent fast, and intermittent fasting adds to their health. And there are people who are unwell. Let me just share with you, people who have type 2 diabetes are, and I'm not no physician, I like to put the disclaimers out there. I could just share with you guys what I've witnessed and what I've experienced for myself. But I do like to put out there that I am in no shape, way, or form a physician, and so I'm not making any health claims, you know. I'm telling you what I have seen work for other people and what has worked for me. And what I've seen work for other people is that they are literally reversing type 2 diabetes with intermittent fasting. How is this happening? Because they're spending more time in um, a period of allowing their body to heal it while fasting than they are ingesting foods. Okay. So that's a benefit of intermittent fasting as well. Another benefit of intermittent fasting, and it's a benefit that I personally started intermittent fasting for, and that is to tackle hormonal weight. You got to get a certain age. I don't know if, how many ladies are in the room today, but we go through perimenopausal stage. You get to a certain age where you go through a perimenopausal stage, and your hormones literally are communicating or sending signals that it needs to hold on to fat. I'm just talking in layman's terms. This is what happens. And so a lot of us find ourselves, even if you're on some type of diet, on some type of doing keto, um, if you're watching what you eat, if you're not ingesting a whole lot of complex carbohydrates and sugars, and drinking sodas and teas and all that stuff that helps the body to hold on to the fat. Even if you have a way that you're eating, excuse me, you have a way that you're eating that is not reckless, you'll find that you have areas here in the arm area, in the midsection area, that's really difficult to drop that weight. And so a lot of times you'll have a goal weight, for those of you who are on some type of weight loss journey, and you'll find that you'll hit a plateau and not understand why you can't get over the hump because you're doing everything right, right? Okay, so we hit a certain age, the body is communicating to itself that it needs to hold on to certain things, like fat. That's what sugars turn into. That's what carbohydrates turn into. And so your body is strictly burning, um, it's burning fuel from the sugars that you give it. It's burning fuel from the carbohydrates that you get it. When you get into intermittent fasting and your body depletes all the fuel, all the insulin and the sugars and the carbohydrates while you're in that state, the next thing that the body does is it kicks into what is called ketosis, and it begins to fuel itself off its own fat. So the reason why I got into intermittent fasting is so that I can lose stubborn hormonal weight. And so the less that I gave myself any type of you know complex carbohydrates, sugars, which is why when I said in the onset, these are some of the things that I literally eliminated from my diet because I wanted to see significant results with regards to pairing keto and intermittent fasting together. So this is why I totally eliminated the sugars, totally eliminated the carbohydrates, because I wanted my body to kick into ketosis, which it did, and begin to fuel itself with this stored, difficult hormonal weight that I was having a hard time losing, even with a keto lifestyle. Okay, so really great benefit of intermittent fasting or implementing intermittent fasting into your lifestyle is it gets rid of belly fat. It gets rid of any type of stubborn fats. And again, the way that it does that is that it uses your fat as fuel and not sugars and carbohydrates because you're fasting. So that's a part of the healing process. So let me just share with you guys, and you may see me look down because I put all my notes in my phone. Excuse me. I put all my notes into my phone. And so when I'm sharing, a lot of times it's things that I don't want to miss. And so I'll jot it down to make sure that I get you guys the information, um, that you need. So you can go on and, be great. You could go on, especially if you're going to implement these things in your own lifestyle. You have the basic tools to begin and really change your life. Okay. And so what intermittent fasting does, and it's scientific, and I really don't like to get into scientific because I like to have people have an understanding of what I'm talking about. So I like to kind of uh, make things a little bit more elementary so that we can understand it. So intermittent fasting changes the function of cells, genes, and hormones. That's what one of the things that it does. Okay. When I say it changes the function of cells, genes, and hormones, I share with you guys that one of the things that it does while you're in a fasted state is it lowers insulin levels. This is good for people who are suffering with type 2 diabetes. It naturally, the body naturally will lower insulin levels when it's in a fasted state. And so that's my number one. It changes the function, cells, and genes of hormones. Okay. It causes cellular repair. And so if you're dealing with any type of free radical things going on in your body, inflammation, people deal with a lot of inflammation. Inflammation is a natural response. It is a natural response of the body. If you cut your finger, you'll notice that it'll swell because that is a natural response of the body to protect its own self. And sometimes I know if you guys are familiar with the term autoimmune disease. Sometimes the body will go into overkill and it's not really protecting itself, it's attacking itself. So you have people out here who are dealing with lupus, you have people who are dealing with Graves' disease, or people who are dealing with Hashimoto's, which these are thyroid conditions, because the body it thinks that it's protecting itself, but it's an overkill. And so it does an overproduction of inflammation, which is not good. It does an overproduction um, of trying to protect the body. And in retrospect, it literally is hurting the functions of the body. So intermittent fasting is a great way of getting those um, getting inflammation under control, to help the signals recognize that, yeah, we're doing a bit too much. We team too much. We got to kind of tone it down by causing hormonal balances to take place. And this is happening because we are not ingesting all of these um, complex foods. And I'm going to continue to say that because food, you can use food to heal or you can use food to hurt. The body really wasn't designed to digest a lot of these things that we're eating. Processed foods, it has to figure it out. And so a lot of times we're dealing with celiac disease and leaky gut syndrome and things like that. Autoimmune disorders come from the way that we eat. We've heard the term, you are what you eat. And it rings true. And so when you get in the mindset of, I'm no longer going to, live, eat everything in sight. And I shared this before. I'm going to realize that I eat to live. And so if I eat to live, I got to give my body what it needs to function in the perfection in which God created it to function. Okay. And so we want our cells to be fed with what God put here for our cells to be fed. I don't know how many of you guys are biblical, but I love the word of God. I have a relationship with the Lord, and I like to use his word when I'm sharing everyday things with people. So I don't want to offend anybody. This is my belief, and I just want to share with you guys the concept that I walk in because it's been laid out for us in his word. So when Adam and Eve were in the garden, God provided them with everything that they need, right? You couldn't roll over to the left, to the south part of the garden and get you a cheeseburger because there were no cheeseburgers in the garden. You couldn't go down to the north part of the garden and get you a rack of ribs, right? We ain't had no ribs in the garden. Plants, herbs, everything, fruit, vegetables were provided for us in the garden. Our bodies were created to be able to digest these types of things. Okay. So when you develop a habit of reintroducing things that the body was created to digest, and I'm not telling nobody not to eat meat. I eat meat. I am practicing to eventually be vegan because I know that this is a way that I ought to be eating. So don't think that I'm coming in here knocking anybody from eating meat. I don't eat all meat. I just eat seafood, and that's basically it. I'm not eating vegetables and things like that. So I am weaning off. Currently, I'm pescatarian. I am weaning off of it all because you couldn't really go through the garden and get these things. And so I'm simply just on the fatty fishes, salmon, things like that, salads, loaded salads. I love vegetables. That's how I eat. I didn't always eat like that. I didn't always have a really um what's the word I want to use? So I will say this: I had a dysfunctional relationship with food, so I didn't really have a good relationship with food. And this is something that I had to practice in a place that I needed to get through. And intermittent fasting helped me to get to this place by slowly eliminating things that were not good for my diet and things that the body really wasn't created to digest. I dealt with a lot of issues. I dealt with thyroid issues. I dealt with leaky gut issues where it's a gluten intolerance where you eat certain things and literally these foods literally ate through the lining of your stomach, and so they call it leaky gut syndrome. When you get foods and things of that nature into your bloodstream, this is when the inflammation kicks in, and you begin to deal with all other types of other health issues. And so, in order for me to get my body back into balance, I needed to eliminate some things, make some healthy um, lifestyle changes, and slowly but surely, intermittent fasting helped me to get my body in a place where it needed to be. I give God all the glory for it, and I give Him all the praise because you know he orders my steps. But what I did was I put my body in a place where it was able to heal itself. Of course, you know that God, He's a healer. But I gave my body what it needed to assist it in doing what it needed to do, and that's what happened. Um, so a lot of times we are the reason why we are dealing with certain conditions health wise. And of course, the environment plays a great big part in this, a major part in it. But there's things that we can do, changes, small changes that we can make to begin to get our body back into balance. And intermittent fasting, guys, is an amazing habit to pick up. It's been 2 full years now that I've been doing it, and I feel incredible. I feel amazing. Okay. So does anybody have any questions before I move forward?
Any questions for the speaker? Any questions? Any questions? No question, Miss Lee.
Okay. So like I shared with you before, and my reason for implementing intermittent fasting was to lose a stubborn hormonal weight. Okay. And so that's the reason that I took it on. And the weight loss was amazing. The losing this midsection was amazing. And I'm still got a few pounds to go. Yes, I still got a few pounds to go. But seeing that stubborn weight that I tried for years to get off, to exercise off, to walk off, to weight train off, come off simply by pushing back from the table and giving my body more time to rest. That's what fasting is. Fasting is a state of rest, and it's an amazing thing with intermittent fasting, not just for fit on a physical sense, but on a spiritual sense, because you are denying yourself things that your body demands. I shared this with a group of people one time, and one young lady says, I just the cookies call for me. Like I don't really be wanting the cookies, but when I see them on the counter, they literally know my name. What happens to your body when you eat a lot of? Oops, my earring. What happens to your body when you eat a lot of sugars and carbohydrates is the same thing that happens when people have addictive problems. So nicotine is an addiction, right? It's an addiction. So is sugar. So is carbohydrates. Complex carbohydrates are addictions. When I stopped ingesting sugars and carbohydrates, my body went through a withdrawal symptoms. My blood sugar dropped so low, my husband wanted to take me to the ER. I told him, no, the body's just going through changes. I'm going to take me a nice magnesium bath and I'm going to be fine. Because what's happening is the body's upset that you're taking something from it that it's used to having. Just like with somebody who's addicted to drugs. The moment they come off those drugs, their body begins to react. The body is used to having that substance. The body has learned to function with that substance. Alcoholics. I'm in the medical field. So when you take an alcohol from an alcoholic, they begin to have delirium tremors. The body begins to react. The liver, the kidneys begin to react to not having the substance that it's used to having. Okay. And so you're going to go through a phase. I went through a phase, withdrawals from sugar. I went through a phase of withdrawals from carbohydrates. You know what? I stuck it out. I could have just went in there and threw a piece of candy in my mouth and been all well. And that's what my body wanted me to do. And so, a part of intermittent fasting, what it does spiritually, is it helps you get control of your life. It helps you to realize that I get to decide what I eat and what I ingest, what I put into my mouth. Because all this time, the food's been decided. That's what you come to find out, that all of this time the food has been deciding for you. And so it's really hard to break that habit when the cookie's calling you. It's hard to break that habit when the sandwich is calling you, when the bread is calling you, when the sodas are calling you. And so people talk about willpower. It's not really about willpower. It's about making a decision to be in control of your life. And so intermittent fasting, if you hear about people who fast, that's one of the benefits spiritually that comes out of fasting, is that you begin to realize that, listen, I'm in control of what I eat. I am in control. Literally, it's almost like a discipline, so to speak. That I'm not going to let my body tell me what to do any longer. I'm not going to let it tell me. I'm not going to let it dictate me into killing myself, because that's basically what I was doing with food. If I continue to ingest foods that continue to let me I see my words is just leaving my head, but if I continue to ingest food that did not help heal the celiac. Celiac is another word for celiac is leaky gut. Whatever you're eating is leaking into your bloodstream. Your body kicks into inflammation, and ultimately it will kill you. And so I got to the place, this is what intermittent fasting does. It gets you to the place of gaining control, having some type of temperance over your life, okay? Some type of, governing over what you eat, literally putting you back in control. Just like somebody who's addicted to smoking, the nicotine is in control. A drinker that's addicted to alcohol, the alcohol is in control, which is why Somebody who's not an alcoholic can say, I don't see how they wake up 7 o'clock in the morning and drink. I don't see how they have to drink before they eat. I don't see how they have to drink before they sleep. I don't see how they have to drink to function. That's because their body is dictating to them because there is an addiction there. And so when you talk about addictions and dysfunctions, it does not, it extends the realm of our our finite thinking that it's just somebody who's doing crack or it's just somebody who's on heroin. No, there are thousands, even millions of people today with addictive behaviors, and food is their vice. And just like any type of addictive nature or addictive pattern, ultimately the end result is what? You're gonna either go cold turkey and get up off of that, or you're going to die. It's going to kill you. And so, intermittent fasting puts you in a place of regaining control over the decisions that you make concerning every area of your life. Not only did it discipline me in the area of the way that I eat, it disciplined me spiritually, it disciplined me mentally, psychologically, because emotional eaters are that's an addictive nature as well. And a lot of people who eat dysfunctionally have emotional and psychological reasons behind why they eat like that. And so intermittent fasting in my terms, not in the scientific terms, but in my terms and from my experience, get you back on track with and in alignment with the way that our bodies were designed to, or what our bodies were designed to ingest from creation. Again, we go back to the garden: fruits, nuts, vegetables. That's what you had there. They had streams and ponds. So I don't know if they went out, they had fish out there. I don't know. Because like I shared with you guys, um, before, I am pescatarian, but I am leaning my way off of and getting back to eating. I love that term. I'm getting back to eating. I'm getting back to the blueprint and the plan that God has laid out, because you can't help but to walk in victory when you do that. And so I am just excited. I get really, really excited and I'm passionate. I know you guys can tell. I'm passionate about health and wellness. I said this the last time I was here at Queen CC. I'm passionate about health and wellness because it's the life that I live, the life that I walk, I breathe it, and I love to be able to sow what I know into other people, and so that they can begin to take on some of these healthy habits. Habits aren't always bad, guys. We get to decide. And so I'm implementing these healthy habits, and intermittent fasting is an incredible habit to have where you just discipline yourself. I'm telling you something, after the third week, guys, I didn't even get hungry. You know how sometimes you don't eat for a while and you don't even realize I haven't eaten anything, and then your stomach starts to growl and kick you back in and say, you got to put something in us. Some people get headaches. After a while, your body's like, she really ain't going to give us what we want, and it will line up with that. And so you won't get no hunger pains. You don't get anything. So for 16 hours, I don't get hunger pains. I break fast. I break fast at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. And I'm not hungry. I'm not having headaches. I'm not lightheaded. I'm not going through any changes. This is just a time for me to eat. Okay. Currently, I am fasting 20 hours a day. I told you guys I started with 16 hours, and then I have a 8 hour eating window. Currently, for the last 8 months, I've been fasting 20 hours a day, and I have a 4 hour eating window. Why? Because I'm doing one meal a day and I'm getting all the calories I need in that one meal. Everything that I'm eating is easily digestible. And guys, I feel incredible. I'm telling you, I feel incredible. I literally am understanding every single day what it means to eat to live, and not the other way around. So many of us have that mindset. We don't realize it. If you eating everything in sight, you living to eat. And ultimately, that living to eat addiction is going to cause some major problems in the body. Okay. And so helps with to regulate the cells and things like that. I dealt with high blood pressure, not anymore. I had hypothyroidism, not anymore. Again, I say I am not a medical professional. I'm coming and I'm sharing my testimony with you guys. I'm sharing the experience that I had from implementing this healthy lifestyle into my life. And this is the things, the changes that I'm seeing taking place in my body. I was grossly overweight, not anymore. Okay. Had brain fog because sugar does that. You know, you ever left one area of the house and when you left it, I'm going to the kitchen to get some water, right? You get in the kitchen and you're standing in the middle of the floor, like, what in the world am I in here for? And so it helps with those types of short-term memory losses and brain fog and things like that. I think clearly. I able to make um, conscious, clear decisions. I'm not all emotional. I'm not governed by my emotions. Food does all these things to us, guys. Food does all these things. It affects us mentally, of course, physically, because if you're eating crazy, you're going to be overweight. It affects us psychologically. There's a reason why people eat the way that they eat to. And, we just have to get to the root of that and deal with that, which in turns it will affect you emotionally. Some people turn down their plate when they go through stressful situations, and some people throw everything but the washing machine in their mouth when they're stressing, and that's called emotional eating, and that is a psychological and emotional dis-ease that needs to be dealt with. Okay, and so intermittent fasting helps with all that. It just helps you to get a little bit of discipline in your life. Even prior to intermittent fasting, I fasted. I've chose certain times to fast. But intermittent fasting has changed my life forever. It's literally changed my life forever. Another benefit of intermittent fasting is that it reduces oxidative stress. What is oxidative stress? I'm so glad you asked. A lot of times we deal with just life itself. And so, you have as women. So I don't know, again, I don't want to just talk to women because this applies to men as well. But I'm a woman, so I can identify with a woman. So I have to tell you from the place of my identification and experience as a woman. We wear so many hats, ladies. We just wear so many hats. We're like, I like to say that women are like oranges and men are like apples. And I like to break it down like this. If you peel back an orange, it has several different compartments. You kind of can break them apart and you eat them like that, which means that we have the ability to compartmentalize things as women. We can go through something really challenging and we'll take that thing because I gotta get to work, I gotta get to school, I gotta tend to my children, I gotta take care of my husband. And so what we learn to do is we learn to take certain stress or situation that we really don't want to deal with right now and stick it into one of those slots. Thus the orange. So you look at that. We have learned to compartmentalize things, and then we keep things moving. But what's happening within the orange is that the stresses are building up, and that's what happens in the body. The oxidative stress begins to take place in the body, and there's things over here, and things over here, and things right here, and things here, and things here, and things here that we've yet to go back and unfile and deal with. And so the body knows that it's there. And so it begins to put stress on our adrenals. And then we begin to deal with sickness from that as well. You ever heard the term stress kills? It does. And so with men, I say that they're like apple because if you cut that apple, it just goes straight to the core. They just got a core. That's it. And so let me just digress and share this with you so maybe it can help you guys understand the analogy that I'm using here. We're very forgiving as women. Okay. We're very forgiving, and we're not just forgiving. We put that thing, if we forgive you, then we're not constantly throwing it up in your face. And I'm talking about women. I'm not talking about girls. Okay, because girls like to bring things back up from 1996 that you did, that you didn't do, what you said didn't finish and all that. I'm talking about grown women here. Okay. So I'm talking about women who've learned to compartmentalize things and keep going at life, keep doing what they need to do for their children, their husband, and things of that nature, what's taking place in the body. Now, in your mind, you're not feeling like anything's going on. You just know you compartmentalize that thing and you kept it moving because these are the hats that we wear. Many, many hats. You got women who are business women, white collar. We doing YouTube on CC. You got women who preach at the church. They go out and do missions, community work. They're working in their community and they're taking care of their husband and their home. Some women are responsible for making sure that the finances are taken care of. Many, many hats that we wear. Again, that orange. We compartmentalize this, right? Whereas in a man, he got that core. And so a lot of women have said would say, well, I did this one thing and he just can't forgive me, but he's did a thousand things to me. Well, he's not an orange. He don't have nowhere to compartmentalize what you did. So it goes straight to the core, right? If you split an apple open, right? There's just a core, right? I'm going to get back to where I was coming from and I'm going to tie it in with what I was talking about because what intermittent fasting does for us as ladies who have mastered compartmentalizing stressful situations instead of really dealing with them and getting to the root of it and then just moving on is it begins to cause oxidative stress in the body. So when you're giving your body a break from having to digest complex foods and sugars and stuff like that, those it's actually working on that oxidative stress that you built up from compartmentalizing stuff. And so that's an amazing benefit because you'll begin to feel lighter. You'll begin, and this is what causes your mindset, your thought process, your thinking, your mind, you to have more mental clarity because it's not cluttered with the things that you compartmentalize there. So it begins to give you more clarity. Okay. And I think that's an awesome benefit of intermittent fasting that gets in there and it works on these stresses in our body. And it helps too, because oxidative stress can really cause some damage on your organs and things like that, which, people will just hear somebody say stress kills. Yeah, they say that. No, it really does. It really does. And so it gets in there, it literally damages your genes and everything. Oxidative stress can damage your genes and everything. And so it's a wonderful thing. Another thing oxidative stress does is it causes inflammation. Again, your body is like you stressing all over the place. You didn't compartmentalize everything in 2020. And so now I got to go ahead and kick in again. Inflammation originally is to protect the body. Okay, it's to protect the body. Okay, but if it's in overkill, right? Then anything in excess is not good. And so what it'll get in there to do, intermittent fasting, we get to deal with the inflammation, the oxidative stress, the worn out adrenals, and begin to bring balance back into your life. Okay, and that's another topic on CC. We got to learn how to stop compartmentalizing things and deal with it head on. That's what we got to stop doing. All right. Another thing that intermittent fasting may be beneficial for is the heart. And I wrote some things down here with regard to that because it is scientific. Intermittent fasting has been shown to improve numerous different risk factors, including blood pressure, total and LDL cholesterol, blood triglycerides, and inflammatory markers. And so that's what it does. You literally just rest in your body, putting your body in chill out so that it could just do what it was created to do. Again, heal itself. The body was created to heal itself. It really was. That's the way God made us. That's the way He designed us, right? Let me just share something else spiritual with you. We got to know who we are, okay? Because mentally, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So if you're always thinking that you're sick, always thinking that, oh, it's something going on in my body, that's going to be your reality, right? As a man thinks in his heart. And when I say a man, I'm talking about you too, ladies. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he, right? But we were designed, the body was designed to heal itself. So if you think in that light, while you're fasting. You ever heard stories about people who have been diagnosed with cancer and they given the same treatment? Somebody comes out more favorable than the other individual. It's all here. It's all in the way that you think. We get to create. the way our reality is. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. God said, before the foundations of the world, he had a conversation with his son and with the Holy Spirit. He said, "Let us make man in our image and in our likeness." In other words, he said, "Let us make man like us." Right? The all-powerful, almighty God said, "Let us make man like us." Right? So if I'm made in the image and the likeness of God, number one, I'm powerful. Okay? That's number one. I didn't say I was God. Okay, he said, "Let us make man like us." So this is what he did. And so, number one, I established that I'm powerful. As a powerful a spiritual being, why would I allow things to control me like food? Why would I allow things to control me that can ultimately take me out? Why would I allow things to control me that can stress me out? Right? I said it. We're powerful. So I established the fact that we're powerful, right? And so again, the individual who has the same treatment, but you have this one over here, what makes the one over here whose diagnosis is becoming favorable is that he establishes and comes to the place of knowing who he is. I'm powerful, I'm healed, I am not dealing with this situation. The individual over here knows how to decree a thing and give it legs and feet. That's what makes the difference. And so, along with intermittent fasting, and I'm telling you, intermittent fasting is going to make you think like that, especially if you're spiritual, if you're in your word, you have a relationship with God, it's going to make that relationship closer. You have more intimacy time with Him because you're not somewhere stuffing something down in your throat. And I like to use the phrase when I talk about intimacy, you allow Him into me, see? You let Him see who you really are, and then He begins to show you. You let Him see, and then He begins to show you. And so that's what intermittent fasting does. That's what it's done for me. It's been incredible. It's been amazing. The benefits are there are a plethora of benefits. There's no way, shape, or form that I can go through all of them in this allotted time or space because there are that many. But I'm gonna tell you what it's done for me. What it's done for me, it's blessed my entire life. It's helped me to tackle with hormonal weight. It's helped me to assist my body in healing itself from uh, hypothyroidism and a goiter out to here. It's helped me to have my blood pressure regulated and normal according to science. Normalize my blood pressure. I don't deal with any type of diabetes type 1, 2, or any. It's helped me to bring down my BMI, mental clarity, a deeper spiritual connection with my creator. It has helped me to literally get discipline over my life. It helped me break the addiction of food, the addiction of sugar, the addiction of complex carbohydrates. It helped me to regain control of my life. It helped me in the area of my hormones and I'm being out of whack, dealing with perimenopausal or going into perimenopausal. I do not have hot flashes. I do not have night sweats. My hormones is where they need to be. And it's helped me to just overall be a better individual. It's helped me to make better decisions. People be like, well, how does fasting help you make better decisions? It does. Because if you begin to really research and look and see what foods and the certain foods that you do, that you eat does to you. Foods, that's why they call some foods aphrodisiacs. It has the ability to alter and change your mood. And so we got to get into really doing the research on what am I eating, what am I putting in my body, what's the process that it's going to go through to get from my mouth and be digested. Does it go through a lot of changes to have to digest? Is this a food that can possibly give me some type of ulcerative colitis or any type of IBS? Is this a food that's going to cause me to have leaky gut? Or is it going to be beneficial to my overall health? What is it going to do for my cells? In the long run, we have to ask these types of questions. Intermittent fasting gets you in a place where you ready, honey. You just like, no, I'm dealing with, like I said on the onset, a part of temple care It's self care. I am responsible for the temple, the body that God has given me, and I'm responsible to take care of it. And so my research leads me to places that helps me better understand what I need to get the job done. We got any questions yet? We got any questions? Auntie Cece, because I've basically shared with you guys what I came to share today. Take care of your temple. Be mindful of your temple. Intermittent fasting is an awesome habit to implement into your life for temple care. That's what we're going to call it. It is an awesome habit to take on for temple care. It is an awesome habit to take on for self care. That's a part of your self care. Don't neglect your self care. We got questions.
Any questions for the speaker? Any questions for the speaker? Put the questions in the chat.
You have any questions on CC?
I'm gonna come with the questions in a few minutes.
Okay.
Put your questions in the chat for the speaker.
Okay, so I see the first question. I'm gonna pull it up on my phone because my laptop is all the way over there, but I can see it.
Okay.
And that's from Deborah Soso. She's asking, I would like to know if you were ever diabetic, and if yes, did you fast from food at that time? Queen Deborah, I was never diabetic, but I have close associates who did suffer from type 1 and 2 diabetes and implemented intermittent fasting um, into their lifestyle, and they are no longer diabetic. And so how they would work it, because they would have to eat at a certain time, they work their fasting around the dis-ease, and that's how it worked for them. So everybody's different. So I would suggest for anybody who's dealing with any type of health issue currently, if this is something that you want to take on, please, ma'am, please, sir, consult with your healthcare practitioner first. Ultimately, you're gonna make the decision for yourself, but please consult with your healthcare practitioner first, because as I stated continuously, I'm not a healthcare practitioner. I just share with you my experience and those that who are in my sphere of influence. I have a couple of close friends who've dealt with type 2 diabetes. They implemented intermittent fasting into their lifestyle, and they are no longer dealing with diabetes. So I hope that helps, Queen. Definitely check with your healthcare practitioner if this is something that you want to do. Um,
Miss Love said how to start the fasting.
so Thais, Queen, says how to start fasting.
Yes.
Literally, for people that have never fasted before, I would suggest that they start just a couple of hours a day. Build yourself up to a time where you can completely go, um, for the 16 hours or the 20 hours. I would never tell somebody to just stop eating and throw their bodies into shock, especially when they have a high addiction to the sugars and complex carbohydrates. So, if you're going to fast, I would suggest start from 6 a.m. to 12 noon. Then, do a week of that. After a week of that, cycle off, and then the third week come on and start from maybe 6 to 2 in the afternoon, and so on and so forth. I love to encourage people to build yourself up to something so that you can be successful at it versus just jumping right in it and being disappointed that you didn't accomplish what you set out to do. So I really hope that helps you, Queen Love. I love your name, Thais. Okay, Tahi says, what are the benefits of this fasting for men? It basically is the same benefits, Queen. Men deal with a low testosterone. They go through hormonal issues as well as, just like women. They just have different outcomes from it. And so it's the same benefits. With men, when they eat, men get a certain age, and you can tell they're dealing with some type of issue is when they have that really bulging. They call it the bear belly, and it's not always a bear belly because every man that has that belly is not drinking beer. So it benefits them overall the same way, um, minus, of course, the perimenopausal. Men aren't going through that. But it still benefits the oxidative stress in their body. It benefits them if they are dealing with any type of thyroid issues. It benefits them if they are dealing with any type of inflammation in their body, leaky gut, celiac disease, any type of autoimmune disorders, which is literally a lot of autoimmune disorders is birthed out of inflammation, is birthed out of leaky gut syndrome, celiac disease, and things of that nature, IBS and things like that. So it benefits them if they're dealing with any type of IBS, and I hope that kind of answers it in a nutshell. I'm quite sure if I did a little bit more research, because my husband does not intermittent fast. He does indirectly, but he's healthy, so he's not really like trying to make any type of comparisons. I'm keeping food journals and different types of journals to see the progress and track the progress and the changes that take place in my life. But he just eat. He got a high metabolism. Whatever he eat burns right off before he get up on the table. He one of them. He one of them people.
Okay, okay,
Okay.
Miss Tracy. Um, the question is it okay to exercise while fasting?
I can barely hear you, Queen.
Is it okay to exercise while fasting? And will you lose muscle if practicing for long term?
I don't know why I can't, like literally I can see your mouth moving, Queen, but I can hear that.
I'm gonna drop it in the chat.
Okay. Tahi says, what age is a good age to start fasting? I feel like, see, I'm not an expert on that. So I really don't think people should have their children fasting, but they could. You can kind of control and what you're feeding your kids because they're kids. But I would say teenage age is pretty healthy for them to fast. Um, if they're dealing with any type of chronic illnesses, or if they're dealing with any type of autoimmune disorders. Other than that, I don't really see a need for a child to fast. Um, so I would say 16 and up would be a good age, but that's just my opinion. It's not anything documented on that. Okay, so that's something you might want to do like a little deep dive in on and see what it is. And even when I see scientific stuff, I don't always take it at face value. I'm really digging into researching. Excuse me. But fasting is amazing, so I don't see it being harmful to anyone of any age. Of course, you want to make sure kids eat. I just don't see the reasoning for them having to do that. Well, you're welcome, Queen.
I'm coming.
You're very welcome.
Okay, I drop it in the chat.
Okay, is it okay to exercise while fasting and will I lose muscle when I am practice? That's a great question on CC, and I'm surprised I didn't touch on. Exercising in a fasted state is the business. Okay. that is actually the best time to exercise when you are in a fasted state. Okay. So you won't lose any muscle mass on CC, and that is why you need to be mindful of what you are ingesting when you are in your eating window. So you want to get your proteins in there. Like I said, I'm pescatarian. Seafood is straight protein. Um, it helps to keep build lean muscle. So I'm getting your fatty fishes with the salmon, the bluefish, and things like that. It helps to keep the muscles to keep the muscles lean. There is no muscle wasting with fasting or exercising while in a fasted state. So that is a very good question. I'm so glad that you asked it. And again, I'm surprised that I didn't cover that because I do all of my workouts in a fasted state and it's incredible.
Thank you. Kayla said, what is the best way to come off of fasting?
So the best way that I come off of a fasted state, Kayla, Queen, is I just go right into that's when I break fast. I have my first meal of the day. I have a loaded salad. I eat protein. I know a lot of people don't really care for eggs, but that's a part of my protein. That's another thing I'm trying to wean off of because it's also mucus causes mucus. So I try to stay from mucus causing foods like milks and things like that. I drink a lot of nut milks, almond milk, coconut milk, those things that don't really cause mucus buildup in the body. So I mean, if you're that depends, Queen. If you're asking for someone who's fasted for 3 days and now they're coming off, there's going to be a different answer. If you fasted for 3 days and you're coming off of that particular fast, you want to start very lightly with juice, veggie juices, and fruit juices. So you want to start with a liquid. Okay. For me, I fast every single day. So when I come off, when I break my fast, I'm having my first meal of the day, and now I'm doing OMAD, so it's the only meal of the day. So I'm having my 1,200 calories, which can look like something like a loaded salad, grilled fish. I make my own dressings and olive oil, so I'm having healthy fats, avocados, and things like that. So every single day that I break fast, I'm breaking fast to some type of leafy green salad, some type of fatty fish, seafood, crab, something. And that's what I do. And I drink a whole lot of spring water from the source. And I stress that all spring water is not from the source. My bottle has to be from the source. And so it's either the Geisler water, the Fiji water, or the Poland Springs water. And that's my meal for the day. So I would say start light if you're coming off a fast where you've been fasting between 24 to 48 hours. You want to come off with something very light, maybe broth, fruit juices, and straight from the fruit, not no high speed or nothing like that. But fruit juice is straight from the fruit if you're juicing, and or some type of vegetable juice if you're juicing. Start light, build yourself up to something solid.
What about elders? What about
Elders
elders?
can definitely. Uh, what age range are you talking about? Because I'm 51. Would I be considered an elder?
For example, like 74 and up.
Absolutely, it's great for elders. It's absolutely great for elders. Remember, you can do a 16/8, so you're fasting for 16 hours. 8 hours of that 16 hours, you're sleep. Okay. Or you can do a 14, you can split it up with a 14/12, 16/8, and where I am, I'm doing a 24. So yes, it would be it's incredible for the health of our elders. Incredible for the health of our elders, and that it gives them time for their bodies to rest. I know that a lot of elders are not eating like well how I've eaten, but some of them are. So that would be great to get them in a place where they can begin to allow their body to do what it was created to do, and that's to get things in line.
Okay, listen. I know there can be risk when coming off a total fast and slowly reduce. items back into your system.
Absolutely, absolutely. There are. So that's why you want to take it slow. And like I said, use the juices. You don't want your body to have to work too hard after a fast. After coming off of a fasted state is a rested state. Let's look at it like that. You've given your body time to rest from doing to digesting food every second of the day. So it's a rested state. So you're coming back and you don't want to kind of shock your body into have to go back into what it just spent 48 hours, 24 hours doing to rest. So yes, how to handle cravings. Thais, the way that I handle cravings is I eliminate the addiction. So, like I shared with you guys on the onset of this, coming into intermittent fasting and making it a part of my lifestyle 2 years ago, 2018, I started intermittent fasting. It has been a part of my life ever since. And so when I started, I decided I'm eliminating sugars and I'm eliminating processed foods and complex carbohydrates. That means I get my carbohydrates from my vegetables only. I'm not getting carbohydrates from breads and sugars and cookies and oatmeal. I don't even eat oatmeal. And I don't know people who do. That's their preference. So once you get off that addictive stuff, the cravings are gone. I don't have any cravings. And it took about maybe a good 7 days, the number of completion. Thank you, God, for me to be in a place where I could see a cookie and nothing moved. So the cravings, you get away from the cravings, queen, when you remove the addictive substances that cause you to crave these foods. Now that you
Definitely.
have transitioned in your fasting, how are your bowel movements? Has it changed from when you started? Are there several throughout your day? There's definitely several throughout the day. I'm not bloated. I don't feel bloated. My bowel movements are actually normal, and I don't feel bloated. And when I say several, I go about 3 times a day, every single day. Wake up to a bowel movement. Then when I come off of my fast and break fast at 2 p.m. and have my meal. My second bowel movement is usually maybe 2 hours after that meal. And then before I go to bed, I have a third bowel movement. So they are normal and consistent every single day. And I know people who haven't moved their bowels into people. Some people move their bowels every 2 days, every 3 days, every week, and that's not good. Which is why I'm going to plug this in here. I have a detox program for those people who are struggling in the area of getting regular. Okay, so that's the reason why I put things together like that. You are very welcome, Queen. You are very welcome.
So, Miss Tracy,
Yes.
what's good idea of food you would suggest that a person with diabetes have should eat while fasting?
So when you're fasting, personally, when I come off my fast, I know people who, if you're a meat eater, okay, you want to get when you come off your fasted state, when you're breaking your fast, you want to get proteins. You want to make sure you have protein in that meal. Okay, so if you're intermittent fasting 16/8, you got 8 hours to get 3 meals in. Okay. Me doing one is just a personal preference, but you have 8 hours to get in your 3 meals for the day. You want to make sure you have protein in each one of those meals. You want to make sure that you have a healthy fat in each one of those meals. Olive oil is a healthy fat. Avocado is a healthy fat. Avocado oil is a healthy fat. You want to get these into your diet, okay? And also vegetables, honey. Um, just all leafy green vegetables, kale, spinach, arugula. I don't really eat too many potatoes because they're starchy, and that can get me back into that addictive state. But every now and then I will have sweet potatoes and white potatoes, and I'll mix them as a like a as a I don't know if you guys ever heard of like stewed potatoes. So I'll mix them as a stewed potatoes and have them like that. I feel like anything that you do in moderation, but when you fast and when your body's fasting, what helps what I'm naming to you guys is what will keep your body with not having to overwork trying to break down things like steaks or break down things like ribs, break down things like really hard things to process. Um, because it defeats the purpose of your body going back into that rested state. Put your insulin levels right back where they were. Again, every single time you eat something, your insulin levels go up. That's just a normal process of every human being when we eat. But you don't want to spike to the point where it doesn't come down um, when you enter back into your fast during bedtime. Because when you lay down to go to bed, you're literally going into a fast. You're not sleeping and waking up every 10 minutes eating. Some people are, but for most of us, when we go to lay down to sleep, we're done with eating for the day. So you want your body to, you don't want it to take that much time trying to burn off the insulin that you ate from your meals um, during your eating windows. Tahi says, what are the portion amounts? Literally, everybody's different. So it depends on your BMI and your goals. If your goal is to lose weight or maintain a healthy weight, then you will do the research and find out your BMI. And then you will find out what is the proper calorie intake, caloric intake for your specified tailored BMI because everybody's different. I can say that I do what my macros are a day. I could tell you what my calorie intake is a day, but I have a different BMI from you. So that's tailored, that's personal to your specific makeup. For me, I do a loaded salad. So the salad that I eat is fairly large, but my caloric intake daily for my BMI and to maintain the weight that I'm at now is 1,200 calories a day. So, that's a lot of vegetables because um, you could go eat a Big Mac and be at 1,200 calories a day. When you decide you're going to eat healthy and you want to put together you a nice salad, um, then it's going to take a little bit more than your average processed meal to get to that 1,200 calories. So I'll have a loaded salad. In that loaded salad, I got, almonds and I got strawberries, blueberries. I may have some grilled salmon. I got some type of protein in it. So I may have some grilled salmon up in there or some shrimp. As my protein, I got avocado, tomatoes, cucumbers, green onion, red onion, green onion, which is the chives, red onion, green peppers, red peppers. I got all kinds of stuff up in there that is healthy and it literally fills me all the way up. And that's my meal. And I also do a 250 calorie smoothie with my meal that consists of almond milk, sea moss, bladderwrack, Damiana root, sarsaparilla root. What else I got in there? Ginseng. And I mix that up. I may put a burro banana up in there. And that is my drink with my salad. And it totals up my complete 1,200 calories for the day. Now, when you're, and that's just the way I eat. Some people are still eating their regular diet and intermittent fasting, and you still benefit from it. Don't get me wrong. That's just the way I eat. But you want to be mindful of portion sizes. So I wouldn't say if you do rice, which I don't, no more than a cup of rice. Why do you need more than a cup of rice? Try to portion it um, according to your BMI and your caloric intake. Tell it to you. And there are some apps and there are websites that you guys can actually establish by your weight and height what your BMI is, and it will literally break down um, how many calories a day that you should be eating and offer food suggestions for your meal times. So you can check out MyFitnessPal. That is a awesome website as well as an app. And I'm not sponsored. I'm sharing this with you guys out of the kindness of my heart. My Fitness Pal is an awesome tool to use to get this information on your specifics, your tailor-made portion size that you should have. I
Um,
absolutely have
see,
recipes. Queen. I have 7-day keto meal plans. Um, And I do have also for someone who is a meat eater. I'm not. I have weight loss meal plans as well for people who are trying to lose weight.
Queen, can you send that to my IG?
Yes, I will.
Thank,
Absolutely.
thank you. Any more questions? Do you have some recipes? Miss Love asks you.
So, let me. You want me to share one of my recipes with you? You want me to
Sure,
share one with you?
sure.
Okay, so this recipe literally is one of my favorite, guys. Let me tell you. I take about four, and my husband loves it, and he doesn't do keto, but this is a keto meal. So the healthy fats that I use in this recipe is going to be olive oil. Um, I'm frying shrimp for this recipe, so I'm frying it in the olive oil. And what I use to coat my shrimp, I make my own seafood seasoning with almond flour and just a Cajun season that I put in there. So we're not using any type of white flours, white starches, or anything in this recipe. It is a 650 calorie just this particular thing, but when you add the salad to it, it makes it to the 1,200 calories along with my smoothie. So I like to blanch four sweet red peppers. I gut them out and I blanch those red peppers and I sit them to the side. I may slide them in the oven kind of because we're making stuffed shrimp parmesan here, and this is a keto meal, and it is incredible. And I actually have a picture on my Instagram page of this and it is so delicious. So I take four medium sized red peppers. I'll blanch them, which just simply means you're going to clean them and you're going to boil them, get them a little bit soft because you're going to put them in the oven, right? But it's not going to be in the oven for too long. Sometimes I'll put them over a flame and just kind of, roast them over the flame. In the meantime, I take a cup of medium sized shrimp that's butterfly and I will season those shrimp with some garlic powder, some onion powder, a little bit of ginger, and I will coat them in um, my seafood batter that I kind of created using the almond flour and the Cajun seasoning. There are no carbs in anything that I'm mentioning here to you guys. This is a zero carb recipe. Okay. And so I'll get some olive oil, probably maybe a couple of tablespoons of olive oil, warm it up a little bit, fry up my battered shrimp, right? I'll take and I stand corrected. There's two carbs in it because I use a tomato sauce that is keto friendly, and it has two carbs in there. Okay, so let me I stand corrected. This is a two carb meal. Still amazing because that carbs are not my friend. Okay. And we're not talking about any type of complex carb. We talking about it's just carbohydrate. Okay. So of course, if you guys know anything about making any type of shrimp parm, chicken parm, any type of Parmesan meal. I take my sauce, I make up my sauce. Of course, I use Italian seasonings in this sauce, and then I will throw in my crispy fried shrimp into this sauce and mix it up. Cheese is amazing on keto, so it is a healthy fat. It is considered a healthy fat on keto, and I've lost 34 pounds eating this way. Um, so I'll mix that up and I'll get me some ricotta and I will have me some mozzarella, the fresh mozzarella cheese that you have to grate up, and some basil. And so I begin to take my red peppers that I gutted and prepared, either blanched or um smoked over the little browns over the fire, and I begin to layer them. I will put my shrimp in first, put a little bit. Remember, the shrimp has been in the sauce, so we don't have any cheese in the sauce, just the shrimp. So I'll put my shrimp in first. I'm not adding any extra sauce, and the amount of sauce that I use in this recipe is 3 tablespoons, so there's not a lot. Layering it with shrimp, ricotta, mozzarella, shrimp, ricotta, mozzarella, one more layer of shrimp, ricotta, mozzarella. I do this for all four of my red peppers. I'm sure it'll be good with green peppers too. If you like peppers, you could just mix it up, yellow peppers, however you want to do it. Sprinkle some fresh basil on top. I sprinkle on some fresh Parmesan on top, and I slide those bad boys into the oven at 375 degrees for 20 minutes. Okay, I have a picture on my Instagram page of this meal with a loaded salad. And it is incredible. I'll take that out. I'll make me a loaded salad. I'll have my sea moss and bladderwrack shake smoothie that has raspberries, blueberries, mango, a burro banana, and my herb consisting of sarsaparilla root, damiana root, depending on what type of herb, because I have an arsenal of it. I have a herbal medicine cabinet, but I also use it to incorporate into my smoothies and my meals as well. And so I'll have that maybe an 8 ounce smoothie, loaded salad, and the shrimp parmesan stuffed red sweet peppers. And that's my 1,200 calorie meal. And it is incredible. It is incredible. So you can eat, and that's me eating to live again. And I'm very happy about it. I'm satisfied. I'm not left feeling like, oh, I'm missing something. That's how addictive foods leave you, feeling like you want more. You know you full up to the throat, and you going back in to get some more. You know why? Because your body's saying get more. We want more, more. That's what it does. Addictions, any type of addiction, always demands more. It never satisfies. That's the message of that. Addictions never satisfy. And so, yeah, it's incredible. I'm satisfied. I'm fulfilled. I'm full, and I'm ready to get back into my fasted state.
Okay. One more question. One more question for the speaker. Any more questions? One more question. Did you Are you guys satisfied with your answers? Yes, no, maybe so. Yes, no. I'm satisfied with mine. I don't think there are any more questions.
Okay.
I don't see anybody dropping anything in the chat. Any more questions for the speaker before we close out the live? Any more questions? Okay. Thanks to everyone in the chat for your questions, your comments, and your concerns. And most of all, thanks to I am Tracy Lee for presenting and bringing such good informative information to the audience. It's been a pleasure having you here.
It's a pleasure to be here, Queen. I'm humbled, and I'm humbled to serve. I love it.
I'm humble too, and I love what you're bringing. And the next time you come back, I want you to be preparing a recipe for the audience.
Oh wow. So
Yes, they can watch you do what you do and be doing the same thing from their home.
nice. That's awesome. Okay.
Yes, that would be great.
Hmm.
Yes. So once again, thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks for your concern, your comments, your questions, and I hope to see you guys tomorrow at 10 o'clock. And most of all, thanks to I am Tracy Lee for presenting.
My
Thank you,
pleasure, Queen.
and I hope to see you back here soon with more informative information for the audience. Thanks, everyone. Have a great day and a blessed week ahead.
Have an incredible day, guys.
See you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. Who can make it? 10 a.m. tomorrow morning for another virtual interactive. Hi, everyone. Have a great day. Have a great day. I am Tracy Lee. See you. Bye, everyone. Have a good day.